This is Joe's Corner 76. We'll be discussing the human condition. In order to change it, we have to be involved. Young men in Canada and in other countries are in a state of crisis. These are the ones who built the country, died for the country, and believed in Canada. Government data on unemployment, drug overdose, educational attainment, mental health, homelessness, and crime support the young men's crisis. We need to understand the things that are causing the crisis. There are no government plans for a targeted specific plan to support and empower young men. If society and the government continues to ignore this crisis among young men, they will stray from mainstream politics and embrace the extremist agenda. These extremists cultivate some of these young men online and offline and give them the false impression they care about their concerns. But they are only using them for their agenda. We need to stop doing what we're doing. What are the main reasons for the crisis among young men? Economic decline and job loss. There has been a loss of traditional male-dominated jobs in the manufacturing trades, which has led to higher unemployment and economic activity. We can see this with male inactivity rising from 16% in 1970 to 32% today. Educational underachievement. Boys consistently lag behind girls in literacy, graduate rates, and college enrollment. There are more female valedictorians. Women earn twice as many degrees as men. Mental health crisis. Young men are greatly affected by suicide, abuse, and violence. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young men. Substance abuse. Higher rates of drug and alcohol compared to young women. This is linked to coping with unemployment and identity loss. Social isolation and identity crisis. The decline in marriage, community involvement, and sense of purpose. Single women are 3 times more likely to buy homes than single men. Cultural shift and masculinity crisis. Confusion over male identity in modern society with fewer models and diminished expectations. Shrinking male college enrollment and the concern over the political war on boys. What needs to be done to resolve this problem? Diversity, equity, and inclusion sound great in theory, but in practice, they exclude young, able-bodied white men. Government and academic circles specifically exclude white males from applying for advertised job openings by stating this up front. Quotas are being imposed so that certain groups are reflected in the workforce. This is not based on the idea that the most qualified candidate will get the job. We need to return to the principle of merit, where the most qualified gets the job based on qualifications, not racial and social quotas. We need to judge people by the content of their character, not sex or racial background. We need to get over the idea there should be the creation of a male-dominated society, but rather we need a change in the way we look at males, and particularly what we can help young men become. How we can make them become full participants in society. In the past, masculinity was tied to strength, resolve, and self-control, and their position as breadwinners. young men were expected to man up, show toughness, resolve, and self-control. This definition is not the way some elements of society see males. And in fact, their sole goal is to destroy the old myths about masculinity. Society as a whole will pay a high price unless young males and males in general are included back in society in meaningful roles. What can be done? Mental health and social emotional support. Male accessible health services tailored to young men include peer-led groups and relevant therapy. We have to break the stigma of masculinity by normalizing conversations around vulnerability, depression, and anxiety. Use digital platforms like gaming and social media, where young men already spend time to deliver positive messages and support, education, and basic skills. Re-engage young men in education by offering flexible pathways like apprenticeships, vocal training, and online learning. Set up mentorship programs that connect boys with role models who emphasize resilience, responsibility, and healthy masculinity. Early intervention in schools to identify disengagement and provide support before dropout or isolation occurs. Employment and economic stability. Job readiness programs that combine technical training with soft skills like communication and teamwork. Public-private partnerships to create entry-level opportunities, especially in industries where young men are underrepresented. Financial literacy education to reduce stress around money management and future planning. Community and belonging. Strengthen family and community ties through initiatives that encourage fathers, mentors, and community leaders to actively engage. Create safe places such as sports, arts, and volunteer programs where young men can build friendships and an identity outside of digital isolation. Promote healthy masculinity by challenging harmful stereotypes and encouraging empathy, responsibility, and services. We need policies that promote cultural change. Government investment in youth programs, especially targeting mental health and employment. Campaigns to redefine masculinity in ways that value emotional intelligence, care, and contribution rather than dominance. Cross-sector collaboration between schools, healthcare, employers, and faith groups to ensure consistent support networks. I hope you take this as a call to reimagine masculinity, not as a dominance, but as responsibility, empathy, and contribution. Let's blend practical solutions with a change in our philosophy towards young men. If we ignore the problem, society will and is starting to pay a high price. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, at Joe's Corner, and X at JPhilosophy76. You can hear me on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify at Joe's Corner. Please hit the subscribe button for my YouTube channel at Joe's Corner 76.